Ladies and gents, over the course of this series of having braces, I've mentioned multiple times of pros and cons. And in this video, I want to directly address those pros and cons, the benefits to the risks of having braces as an adult, especially your early 20s, maybe late 20s. Now, there's a lot more cons than pros, unfortunately, but you just kind of have to make a bad situation good or make the most of it. So first things first is one of the most obvious cons here. It's dating life. Dating life in your early 20s, especially if you're not in a relationship prior or whatever, or maybe just having your little hookup situation, it's not easy because with braces, a lot of people think it's very unattractive and it's not gonna go well for you. And I'll just be honest with you, unless you're just stupidly attractive, then yeah, it'll be that way. Now, besides the whole dating life, it's really the fact of it makes things so uncomfortable. The uncomfortableness is based on the insecurity. Now, for a lot of you, it may not make you insecure, but for myself specifically, it makes me super insecure. Braces, for some reason, to me, is like the only time to get them is when you're a kid, because at that rate, you're going through so many weird things in your life as it is, like puberty, your facial structure changes, your entire body changes. You just become more like an adult, more attractive. So going through those awkward phases already, it's just a good idea to get your braces on then, so that way you don't have to live with it when you're kind of already done growing and you're now just in the maturing phase. That's really the thing that I want to go off of, because that could also be kind of based off of the whole dating life, is that when you're a kid, you're probably not dating a lot. Or if you are, I don't know what you're doing with your life, go have a childhood, okay? But if you aren't, then that's when the time is to have it, and obviously adult braces, it just ain't it. Especially in your early 20s when you're really looking for somebody or just want to settle down, or maybe if it's just fun, a good time instead of a long time, then it hurts you a little bit because you just look younger. Not a lot of people are like, oh great, you got braces, I just don't screw with it. There's a lot of things that people think in their minds that are very odd situations that I'm not gonna name for YouTube. Now this situation here can kind of be known as a pro but also a con. You're probably gonna have a lot of money, or at least enough money when you're at my age and or greater, so late 20s, maybe early 30s, to be able to pay for braces. Now the only problem is at this age too is that you're probably saving up to either buy a nicer car or put a down payment on a house, or maybe investments or something, or just saving in general for a really, really bad time in your life. Because that's always a good thing, is to save when bad things happen. So, given that, yes, it's the pro of you would have enough money, but the bad thing is you would have the money to be spent and you can't spend it on something else. Maybe even if it's just rent, which that's the case for me. I got a lot of expenses. Now I want to mention something super, super important here. Insurance. I don't know what it is. Maybe it is for all adults specifically, because as a kid, again, as I just mentioned beforehand, when you're a kid, you're going through the most awkward phases of your life. You're growing, your body's changing, everything. Insurance people, doctors, everybody understands that because they went through it themselves. So it's a normal thing. But when you're an adult and you're fully grown, either A, you have the best medical insurance on planet Earth, or dental insurance, or again, you have to pay it all out because the insurance doesn't pay for adult braces. Now, since this was my second time getting them, and I was a kid back then, a minor, and now I'm an adult, I didn't get that option. Matter of fact, so this is what happened. So since I already expunged the first time of getting oral cosmetic work done, it didn't happen. The insurance company didn't want to pay for anything. Matter of fact, they even told us that, hey, most insurance companies don't even allow you to pay for adult braces. So essentially, like, yes, you can pay for medical insurance, but dental insurance, like for cosmetic work like that, they do not handle that because it's not technically a medical need. Even if it's really, really painful, it could be a different story. So there may be certain levels of like, hey, you have really minor work, be it you have minor work but you have pain, or you have really bad work and you need it done ASAP. That might be a certain scenario where they have it done. And that's just something where you need to call your insurance to make sure that it could happen that way. But for me, I couldn't get it done. I had to pay this full out of pocket. So it's like, I'm pretty sure it's $4,600 out of my pocket, monthly payments. I didn't want to do full payments. I think it was just a dumb idea to do. So yeah, but you can think about that. It's just, you don't get to really have the insurance pay for half of it, which that's what happened when I had them first. There's that other con. Now I think it's time for the pros, because reality is, since the dating life was covered, how people picture you is covered, and the amount of money that really comes out of you is covered. That's kind of the pros. So ladies and gentlemen, here are the pros of having braces when you're an adult. Again, as I keep mentioning, you're done growing pretty much by the time you're 21. Women specifically, I think they're done growing by the time they're 19. Now it's just the maturing age. Men, it depends on if you're a late bloomer like myself. I didn't stop growing until I was about 22. Now I'm 23, I'm done growing pretty much. The only thing is it's just bulkier muscle and everything like that. Your body still changes obviously until you die, but you're done growing, so you don't have to worry about your teeth shifting a ton. Now I will say this because this happened to me. Because I was growing when I was a minor and had braces the first time, I also got my wisdom teeth out. So my entire jaw, my teeth shifted. It was crazy, it was bad. Now that I'm this way, I don't have to worry about shifting really ever unless I just don't wear my retainers. So besides everything that we talked about, such as growing and the payment of what you could do with the braces, there's really not a whole lot of what pros are gonna be. It's gonna suck. Braces suck in general, but they suck worse when you're an adult just because there's so many more negative impacts on it than when you are as a kid. But that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I can really think of to my common knowledge after having them 2 different times. So I think if I were to go back in time, definitely would get braces back another 2-3 years ago even, just so that I wasn't at the stage of where I'm at now, and I'd be fine. But I will also say this, my orthodontist that I have now was not there 3.5-4 years ago, or even 2 years ago. So I had that one issue for myself, and I'm really glad I waited. But again, if you can't wait, go for it. If you don't need them, don't get them. It really is not worth it. But if you do need them, like myself, like I had T&J, now it's gone, get them. It's gonna be so worth it in the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you, subscribe.